I've been thinking I want to do a big thing on Derek Guy. He's a tiny little Asian man, this big. And he has a big, tall, white lover man who took him in. He's an immigrant from Vietnam. And I think he's Canadian originally, BC. So this guy in San Francisco likes him because he's always dressed up. And he does a men's fashion thread column. He's a writer. You go, how do you pay your bills with that? Well, you're a kept man. You have a sugar daddy. So this sugar daddy is a white male. The little Asian boy, pull up Derek Guy, fetishizes, you pull up his Twitter, I guess. He fetishizes clothing. They both do. They're both very well dressed. But you got to understand, for Derek, it's a sexual thing. So he black faces, he white faces as this middle-aged 50s salesman, but that's not who he is. And he would hate you to see what he looks like. That's why he's completely hidden his image. I should probably pay, that's what my intro to my book says, by the way. I should probably pay $1,000 to have him identified. But he loves this white man, and like all Asians, he's totally submissive to him. Now, if you love white men, and they're from San Francisco and they're gay, you love what they love. And what does he love? Hating normal white men like me, and even Sean. So that's why all of Die Workwear's pictures, whenever he says, check out this great outfit, it's always a black and an Asian and stuff, because his white boyfriend likes ethnic hotties. He doesn't. Personally, he's into his white boyfriend, but he's being submissive. And it's sort of like when immigrants adapt and they end up being anti-white, they're actually adapting to white culture. Like those Proud Boys in Halifax, where they said, I'm sorry to go off at a tangent after I said we'll start the show, but anyway, the guys in Halifax who were saying, why are you desecrating Canadian statues on Canada Day? And they had a Dominion flag, which was Canada's flag before it got the maple leaf. And this African dude with a thick accent goes, that is the flag of colonization. Take down that flag. Now you go, what is an immigrant doing saying his new country's original flag is disgusting? Well, he's actually assimilating. The local liberals think that's a colonial flag, so he's like, okay, I'm going to get into that. So similarly, Derek Guy's white boyfriend, his name's not Derek Guy, it's probably like Lim Panin Sin Ping. Lim Panin Sin Pin's boyfriend fetishizes ethnics, so that's what he does. So none of this is a big deal, but the problem is, with his reporting, there's no humor in it. So like the specials, there's that song, White Men in Hammersmith Plains, and there's a line the Clash said, they got Buxton suits. I think it's called Buxton. They think it's funny. Turning rebellion into money. And he's laughing at the ska movement and the mods and the rude boys and their little suits. But there was humor in that. They think it's funny. Pull up the specials. Maybe one of their first albums. That kind of look has humor to it. And when you have like working class J6ers going to court, they don't really care about how they look, and there's kind of a humor to it. They'll have the tie undone and all that. And Derek Guy doesn't like that. Why? Because his obsession with fashion is sexual. So imagine if it was a woman, right? And you get some Asian girlfriend who's very hot, and she like shows, and she's a lingerie expert.
Hi, this is Anthony Cumia.
And hello, I am Gavin McInnes.
Together, we're Compound Censored.
And we'd like you to subscribe to our network that has more fantastic content you could shake a stick at. Use this promo code for a one-time super offer.
Do it. It's uncensored and oh so entertaining.
And she's like, you only wear stilettos with these kind of fishnets. And oh my God, I can't believe she's wearing this lingerie. It's not Victoria's Secret. And whenever she would use examples, she'd show you black and Asian and ethnic women, because that's what her boyfriend was into. And she's this submissive, like, sex doll who reports on sexy clothes. So those guys are not trying to be sexy. They're actually emulating Jamaicans who are emulating Brits. So it's a weird full circle thing. But there's humor and silliness to it that Derek Guy doesn't understand. Anyway, Everyone's under this illusion that they're getting important men's fashion tips from this old white guy, but they're really getting lingerie tips from a. Speaking of deportations, my arch enemy, Derek Guy, and you know me. The things I really hate are dishonesty. I'm a truth Nazi, and Derek Guy is a phony. He's in whiteface. He poses as a middle-aged man who cares about fashion, or maybe a geriatric who cares about fashion, an older gentleman. He's a tiny little Asian boy man who is the concubine to an old rich white guy. And that old rich white guy is a real haberdasher. He's into haberdashery. And so Derek, his real name is Lee Min Chin Sin Win Pin, probably, complies. And part of making his master happy is not just talking about sexy clothes, because this is lingerie to you realize. It's sexual to them. It's not just complying and getting really into fashion with his baby daddy's money, his sugar daddy's money all day. He also apes the political views of his gay sugar daddy and shits on conservatives all the time. So when he's showing a good outfit, it's always a liberal or a visible minority, because that's what his sugar daddy's into. And whenever it's someone dressed bad, it's J.D. Vance or Stephen Miller or me. But this dummy just confessed that he's here illegally. Millions of violent criminals are pouring across the border. Okay, first of all, we're going to get to this in a second, but we obviously don't think that all immigrants are violent criminals. But there's a wildly disproportionate number of them, and most importantly, Department of Homeland Security's Tom Homan is focused on the violent criminals right now. You know, these riots, they're not taking Consuela home. Abuela is not being deported with this. They're there to break apart a very specific trafficking drug ring that the cartels were doing. They're getting the main players in these huge gangs. That's what this particular ICE operation was about. So he's decided that we all think it's all violent criminals. Well, in LA it actually was, but generally no. My family escaped Vietnam after the Tet Offensive. Now, what's his name? Andy No goes, that doesn't make any sense. No one was getting out after the Tet Offensive. And if you got out before that, you were a billionaire. I'm still unsure whether we technically broke an immigration law. The border between Canada and the United States was pretty porous. So I think he got refugee status in Canada, but he came to America illegally. The lack of legal immigration totally shaped my life. It made every interaction with the law much scarier. It has shaped which opportunities I could or could not get. It's taken an emotional toll. It hangs over your head. Just get a lawyer and figure it out. There are millions of people in my situation. Oh, maybe we should hire a lawyer. Parents may have crossed the border not knowing. As the law can be pretty confusing. Perhaps in the end, they should have hired a lawyer, but sometimes life is messy. What? In the end, they cross for the same reason. So he doesn't acknowledge the lawyer part, like I did. I think it's unreasonable to deport millions of people, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is all 13-year-old girl stuff. He's showing his true colors. I watched Small Measure of Hope, that the DREAM Act, blah, blah, blah. I think ICE sweeps are inhumane. You don't even know who they're sweeping. I've seen people march on this issue, yada, yada, yada. So more if you care about this issue. So anyway, he admits that he's illegal. And there's all these memes going around. Like it has Homan going like this, and he goes, get in the truck. And then it says, shirt sleeves too long, shoulders drooping, and Homan just goes, truck. And what Derek Guy doesn't understand, first of all, we can find who you are. I can't, but they can. You don't brag when you commit a crime. I learned this a long time ago when I saw Jack Kevorkian, who was known as the Doctor of Death, and he aided euthanasia. Not a euthanasia like Derek Guy, but he helped you die, which is illegal. And everyone sort of turned a blind eye to it because he was dealing with super old, super sick people. And we're like, it's not very Christian, but I have higher priorities. I'll get to you. As long as you're not getting involved in like handicapped people and teenagers. If they have a week to live and they want to cut it early, it's against my religion, but I'm not tossing and turning all night. Then he went on 60 Minutes and was talking about how, yeah, I do it all the time. He showed 60 Minutes. See, law enforcement doesn't like getting embarrassed because they get in trouble from their boss. So they're like, thanks, dude. I just got in shit. And they arrested him and he went to prison. So Derek Guy just did the same thing. He bragged. What's 3-0? Oh, that's Homeland Security using a Spy Kids meme. And what's his name? Yashi goes, the menswear guy just openly admitted on here that he's here illegally. Go down a bit. Is there a picture with that? No. He's a dweeb. Go down more. Will Chamberlain's happy. Keep going. I want memes. Give me memes. Beetlejuice seems suspect. Oh, yeah, that's Beetlejuice's menswear guy. All right, so a little disappointing. Could have been a lot more memes. Got some Rhodesian soldiers there. What's this?
This state representative says that she's in this country illegally, and her parents are illegal too. What a genius.
Okay, bye-bye. Turn it up.
Had died because his mother had died. My father, as the one processing the paperwork, put my grandmother down as his mother. And so I am illegal in this country. My parents are illegal here in this country because his mother had died.
Bye-bye.
My father, as the one
So if you enjoyed that clip,
Then subscribe to Compound Censored using this promo code.